Hi, and welcome to lesson number 19 of the Fundamentals of Slovenian Grammar course. So lately we've been dealing with verbs and verb conjugation. So how to say like I work, you work, he, she works, and so on and so forth in Slovenian. And we've talked about there being both regular and irregular verbs in Slovenian. And we said that regardless of the fact if a verb is regular or irregular, the endings are always kind of regular or predictable. So what we see on screen right now, the m, sh, nothing, va, ta, ta, mo, te, yo, those always stay the same. And if something irregular should happen, if something weird happens, it happens before the ending. It happens in the stem. So in technical terms, we have the infinitive stem, which stem means part before the ending, and infinitive is obviously in the infinitive. And we also have the present tense stem. And with regular verbs, the two are the same. And with irregular verbs, the stem can change going from the infinitive to the present tense, but once it has changed, then it's consistent throughout. So it's the same in all 9 of those. So with a regular verb like delati, it's delam, delaš, dela, and so on. And with an irregular verb, and we had the verb piti as an example of an irregular one, it should be pim, piš, pi, but we just have to know that pi changes to pije, but after that it's predictable. It's pijem, piješ, pije. So that would be an example of an irregular verb in Slovenian. Now today we'll add a bit of a theory to these to our verbs with the help of 3 Slovenian verbs. So we have znati and razumeti and govoriti. Now, znati means to know how to. It does not mean to know. That's a different verb. Only if in English you have the word how to, or to know how, that is znati. Razumeti means to understand, and govoriti means to speak. So those 3 verbs are all regular, so let's conjugate them. And as always, if you want to do this actively, just pause the video before we do them and try doing them on your own. Okay, so it's znam, znaš, zna, znava, znata, znata, znamo, znate, znajo. So I, you, he, she, 2 of us, 2 of you, 2 of them, and we, you, they. Now, razumeti, razumem, razumeš, razume, razumeva, razumeta, razumeta, razumemo, razumete, razumejo. And govoriti, govorim, govoriš, govori, govoriva, govorita, govorita, and govorimo, govorite, govorijo. Okay, so then we said that every infinitive can be thought in terms of the T and everything that comes before the T. And that's very important so that we can then start to conjugate verbs. And so if we simply replace the T with the m, sh, nothing, va, ta, ta, or mo, te, yo ending, that is how to conjugate verbs in Slovenian, if they are regular, that is. Now, today we'd like to explain one thing, and that is that the stem, the part that comes before the ending in Slovenian, always ends either in an a, or an e, or an I. So the vowel is either an a, or an I, or an I. And so even though those letters are not part of the ending, strictly speaking, it doesn't really matter that they're not part of the ending. We can include them kind of in the ending if that makes the whole pattern easier to remember, which it can. And for those of you that will find this useful or easy, I suggest you just use these endings. So if we just broaden the ending, if we extend the ending by the last vowel of the stem also, then Slovenian verbs kind of fall into one of 3 patterns. It's either the or im or im pattern, if we just take the I form. So it's either znam, znaš, zna, or razumem, razumeš, razume, or govorim, govoriš, govori. So rather than thinking about it in terms of m, sh, nothing, if it's easier to include the vowel and to go ash, a, or im, ish, e, or im, ish, I, then you're just free to do that. And so if we do include the endings, then the endings are kind of like, they go as follows. am, ash, a, ava, ata, ata, amo, ate, ayo. Or im, ish, e, eva, eta, eta, emo, ete, eyo. Or im, ish, I, iva, ita, ita, imo, ite, iyo. Now, I think that this can help you remember the endings, especially if you're focusing like just on the singular. Let's say first you'd like to learn how to say I, you, and he, she does a particular verb. It can be useful to know that it's either am, ash, a, im, ish, e, or im, ish, i. Just saying that out loud, just practicing like that, it can make it much easier to remember than simply m, sh, nothing. However, just know, strictly speaking, those are not the endings. We just added the vowel from the stem as well. Now, in today's example, in today's lesson, we'll go through, why did I put this on screen? PT, infinitive stem, present tense stem. Yes, I put this on screen because I wanted to say that the vowel can, of course, change. So, like, PT, if it were regular, it would kind of go im, ish, i. It would be pim, pish, pi, but the stem changes considerably from p to pie. So all of a sudden, because it has changed from p to pie, it'll kind of be an e verb. It'll kind of be like im, ish, e. So don't get carried away by the infinitive too much, by the infinitive stem. Always ask yourself, well, is it regular or irregular? And if it's irregular, just focus on the irregular present tense stem, and that vowel can be different. The two can differ. In the last lesson, I think we mentioned the verb spati, which is to sleep. So if it were regular, it should be spam, spash, spa, but there is just a vowel change. The a changes to an I, like a to i in Slovenian, and so it's spim, spish, spi. So to review today's lesson, or to recap today's lesson, Slovenian verbs do have the same endings of m, sh, nothing, va, ta, ta, mo, te, yo. But if we add one more letter, the final vowel of the stem, it's either an a, or an e, or an i. So if it is easier for you to practice saying am, ash, a, or im, ish, e, or im, ish, i, and so on and so forth. So ava, ata, ata, eva, eta, eta, iva, ita, ita, then definitely do that. Just know that the final vowel obviously can change going from the infinitive to the first person form, because the infinitive stem can change either slightly or considerably. But if it's useful to you to think of Slovenian verbs in terms of those three kind of categories, the A, the E, and the I, then definitely do that. So yeah, next time we'll continue on this topic, and we'll do exercises to practice what we've learned today. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching today's lesson, and take care.